Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. This is a Skylander, an expensive, beautiful plastic toy that when you put on a portal of power, it comes to life. Today, I will be 100%ing the most expensive game I've ever played, Skylanders. With over 30 different Skylanders to choose from with different unique elements, I will need to become the strongest portal master by training and upgrading my own team, collecting every single hat, gathering every single stage's completion marks, and finally rebuild the core of light. And don't get me wrong, this journey wasn't easy.
What is happening? How was I doing at this at the ripe age of 9?
So let's begin at the start of our Skylanders journey. And so the game kicks off with meeting Eon, our portal master guide, who introduces us to the Skylands, a beautiful array of islands that are protected by yours truly, the Skylanders. But right now, the Skylands need our help, as a danger looms in the darkness, Invader Zim. And I'm not joking, by the way. And so we hop into the tutorial, where we meet the voice actor from the B movie?
Alrighty-o.
The boyfriend from the B movie? But now we're given the chance to summon our first Skylander. And of course, we pick Yeah, I'm feeling really excited. Now, for those that have never played Skylanders before, first of all, I'm sorry. But second of all, let's explain how the game actually works. The idea is that you would buy a Skylander in stores and take that toy and put it on the portal of power, thus summoning the Skylander into your game and also making your parents wish you had a different hobby because every Skylander costed about 12 bucks back then. But times are different. I have adult money now. And so we begin our journey through the first level of Skylanders, and in this moment, I can safely describe you that I felt the best feeling of nostalgia ever in my life now. Do you think Skylanders was like a Persona pipeline? This game is just so charming and colorful and silly and stupid and all of the above, but also awesome and so good. We meet Rizzo. I'm not even gonna tell you what his dialogue is, but we meet Rizzo. But Spyro is the most basic Skylander of all. I mean, he's included in the starter pack of the game. He has a simple fire attack and a horned dash attack. Later, we'll get so much more cooler upgrades, but for now, we push through the first level. As I mentioned before, the first level is kind of a tutorial, especially with motion controls, but this isn't a casual playthrough. This is a 100%. But before continuing the game, Flynn calls down upon us for a plan.
Hey down there.
Hey,
Name's
Flynn.
Flynn. Hugo told me to meet you. Boy, you got here just in time.
I just hear the B boyfriend, dude. But before going up, I spotted a little crevasse on the side of a map that led to our first elemental gate. But the question is, what are elemental gates? Well, for Skylanders, it means that in the game, there are specific doors that can be opened by specific elements. And that means you need to have one Skylander of each element to open the gate. And this had every child begging their parents for, please, mommy, one more Skylander. That was me, of course. But in this gate, we're able to unlock our first hat as well as unlock our first soul gem. Soul gems are basically Skylander specific skills that you unlock from finding them in the level. But we push through, unlocking different things that we can find in the level, like a story scroll, until we finally meet up with Flynn, where all of a sudden an enormous boulder hits us and separates us from him. So yeah, things are getting rough out here. But this is when the game throws the first enemy at you, and one of the things that I wanted to own as a kid, a Chomp Chomp. I wanted one of these adorable little gremlins for not only the experience in game, but I also wanted it as a backpack as a kid for some reason. After defeating them, Blobbers gives us an explanation of what these elemental gates were, but we already knew what they were because we found that secret magic gate back then in the beginning. Now, since this is the introduction of Skylanders, they want you to use the Skylanders that they gave in the starter pack, which are a tech and a water Skylander. And so, of course, we summon our tech Skylander. Bazinga! Trigger Happy! Trigger Happy was my main Skylander back then, and so I decided to take him back into the fray, this little freak show. His gate was really easy to solve and get the hat, so I just walked on out of there. But now it was time for me to swap to my water Skylander. However, instead of picking Gilgrunt from the starter pack, we pick out the most elusive Skylander from the water series, Whamshell. I picked up Whamshell for this journey because this Skylander, for some reason, a little history lesson, was a pain in the ass to get back then. For some reason, everyone and their moms wanted this guy, and I was only able to get it from a lucky nab at a local Toys R Us before they shut down. And so we hop on into the water elemental gate for another quick puzzle. But since this is the tutorial level, it wasn't too hard to get the hats, and you'll notice that as we go through the chapters and whatnot, it does get harder. Or does it? I might be lying to you for engagement. Regardless, we switch back to Spyro because I wanted to keep things kind of simple. You know, have a couple of Skylanders that I really like, max them out immediately, and then use the other ones. I didn't do that, but at the end of the level, we had a quick battle sequence with some chompies, opened up the gate to free some villagers, and successfully beat the first area of the game. But like I said, this is only the beginning, and there's gonna be so many more bad things happening throughout the Skylands. At the very end, you'll notice that there's actually some completion marks that we missed, and unfortunately, we did miss the legendary treasure. but we will go back to that at a later time. For now, we continue our adventure. We now get an introduction cutscene as to what happened to the Skylands, and also the canonical reason why Skylanders used to be in our local toy shops for $13.99. Turns out between a battle between Eon and Kaos, who by the way is voiced by Invader Zim, kind of cool, huh? Kaos was losing, so he decided to...
Holy crap!
And this caused all of the summoned Skylanders to disappear and travel all the way to Earth, and because they're so far from the Skylands, they turn into small little versions of themselves that can be purchased for $11.99 at your local Toys R Us. And that's where we come in, armed with our mom's credit card. We bring the Skylanders back to Skylands. We now land onto what will be our future home base and receive our mission to save the Skylands, but to do that, we need to repair something called the Core of Light, which will require a bunch of parts from a ton of different locations. The first thing we need to do is find Callie in the Perilous Pastures. And so we fly off and start off chapter 2 of Skylanders. While here, we immediately find a technology gate that we swap to Trigger Happy for, and for now in our playthrough, we're gonna go ham bone with our Skylander choice. In this elemental gate, we kill a couple of enemies and find the designated hat. We're also able to locate the soul gem for Stump Smash, which, pass, a quick story scroll, and also a DLC memory of mine. I remember this. I believe you need a grass typing. Excuse my microphone, I know it sounds like it's in an air fryer, but this area right here has a secret gate that can only be opened with a life elemental Skylander, which they don't show, and this haunted me when I was a kid, but no more. I'm an adult now. I have actual IQ. I also didn't have a life Skylander on me anyway, so we swapped to Whamshell. In this water elemental gate, there's like a teleportation maze puzzle thing with a bunch of treasure chests inside. And if I'm being honest, the puzzles here are actually pretty fun to do. I mean, it wasn't extremely easy, still relatively simple to solve, but as a 20-year-old unemployed man, I kind of enjoyed my time here. We pick up a birthday hat and swap back to Spyro. And at the end of the level, we hop into a Wii Remote shooting machine, find Callie, and miss a couple of our completion marks. Unfortunately, I don't know everything that there is about the game, and so we'll have to go back and find everything else on our own time. But for now, we get our next goal, which is to start collecting something called the Eternal Sources. With 8 different elements, we need to go and get 8 different elemental eternal sources to complete the Core of Light, and the first one we need is the air source. And so we hop into the Skylands Islands, and our goal here is to take down an enemy airship. Seems rather militaristic, but let's go with it. We hop on Spyro, but also I realized that we can actually name our Skylanders, so I decided to name it after a couple of Twitch chatters, and after shooting down a couple of Zeppelins, we find ourselves our first Undead elemental gate, which is now introducing our first Undead Skylander, Chop Chop.
My goat!
Chop Chop is such a cool Skylander. He was my Undead main when I was a kid, armed with a sword and a shield. Chop Chop just exudes so much aura, you'd think he worked on a farm. After getting the hat and the chest from his gate, we hop into another Wii Remote shooting section to shoot down some more Zeppelins. And one of the facts that I like about this is that the elemental projectiles that you shoot out of your machine actually change on the element depending on the different type of element that your Skylander is. And so we push through the docks, fighting the air elemental enemies and also swapping our hats to not only stay fashionable, but to stay strong. That is until we find our first Earth elemental gate, to which of course we bring out my favorite Earth elemental Skylander, Prism Break. My beautiful king is characterized by these beautiful green crystals that I also used to chew on as a kid. Unfortunately, Prism Break, even though he has a super cool laser attack, he's really slow, so we swap on to Spyro to pick up the hat from this section. As we continue through the docks, we meet a very important NPC, Persephone the Fairy. The reason being is because this NPC right here actually unlocks the unlocks of your Skylanders. At the end of the level, we shoot down another Zeppelin and pick up this item right here, which I bet you cannot guess what it is. It is a propeller. And now with this, we can go ahead and get our first eternal source, the air source. We got a couple of completion marks, nothing too crazy. Apparently we missed the legendary treasure, but no worries, we'll get to that later because I was too excited as we walked over to Persephone to unlock our first couple of upgrades with Spyro. Upgrades are one of my favorite features in Skylanders because most, if not all, of the upgrades in this game feel powerful. There's weight to it, especially Spyro's ability to fly. This is going to be an absolute game changer in specific areas in the game, but for now we push on. And I love the upgrades that we're getting right now on Skylanders, but I also love today's sponsor, War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made and is available for free on PC, consoles, and mobile devices. You see, I love variety, and in War Thunder, you can take command of over 2,500 different tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations. From biplanes to armored cars of the 1920s to fighter jets and main battle tanks of today's time. In War Thunder, Thunder, you can immerse yourself in the intense combat where incredibly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects make you feel like you're right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. And something that I really appreciate about War Thunder is how realistic it can get. There's no simple boxes for hit points. Instead, War Thunder has one of the most sophisticated vehicle damage models in games. Every vehicle is intricately modeled down to the individual components like engines, fuel tanks, weapons, and even the crew, meaning each part of that is all susceptible to their own damage and they each can be disabled from enemy fire. And don't even get me started on the different types of armor, shells, and missiles that behave just like their real-world counterparts. And if your vehicle or an enemy gets destroyed, guess what? We got an impressive damage X-ray view. War Thunder will show you exactly what happens. You can see precisely where the shell penetrated, which components were affected, and what ultimately led to the destruction of the vehicle. So join a worldwide community of over 95 million players in epic PvP battles today, and delve into the breathtaking experience that is War Thunder. With an unmatched wealth of high-quality content to discover, there's simply no better game that is suited for fans of military history. And one of my favorite features of all time is that their new mobile version is available on iOS and Android. And I'm sure you guys are like me, you carry your phone everywhere, meaning you can play wherever you want and whenever you want now. The mobile version of War Thunder features intuitive controls, impressive graphics, and the familiar yet massive multiplayer warfare and dynamic ground and sea battles with air support. So play War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices, as I've mentioned, using my link in the description or the pinned comment, whatever you pick, man. And for both new and returning players that haven't played for at least 6 months on PC and consoles, you'll get the exclusive Vehicle Decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of a premium account for a limited time only. So yeah, once again, thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video, and thanks to you guys for checking out the sponsor. And now, let's get back to some more Skylanders. In the mission to find the Eternal Air Source, I unfortunately didn't have a Life Elemental Skylander yet, so I couldn't open up his gate. But dude, this place was crazy. We're essentially circling a ginormous tower with a tornado in the middle. And I wasn't expecting this, but I found a secret hidden teleporter that led to the legendary treasure of this level. Some legendary treasures can be really annoying to get, so I'm glad that I got this early on to kind of boost my morale. Not to say that I need the validation, but it's nice to have it sometimes, you know? In this level, we also picked the soul gem for Warnado, which is one of my favorite air elemental Skylanders. And after a quick battle with some air gods or air elemental tornado monster things, we get the Eternal Air Source. It kind of looked like a kidney stone. But now this is when the game starts to take off. We have our first Eternal Source, which will now jumpstart our core building journey. But also, we're at the point in the game where we now have access to upgrades. We have access to leveling up, and we have access to so much that this game has to offer.
Ooh, what?
Oh, look, Lord Chaos. They found the Eternal Air Source.
I can see they found the Eternal Air Source.
They're probably rebuilding the core of light.
What?
With Kaos being quite perturbed at our accomplishment, we head on down to the docks where we meet Gurglefin. Upon quickly solving this really quick lock puzzle, which by the way, I loved doing these as a kid, we now have our next location that we unlock from this NPC, and I'm sure you can guess where this is going. Gurglefin, fish-looking human. That's right, we're going to a fish-human trafficking ring. And I'd show you the footage, but my stream corrupted at that part, so here's a picture of it instead. Nice, huh? It's time to log back in though, and I wanted to continue my journey, but before that, I went outside and got ourselves a beautiful Life Skylander. And that, my friends, is Stealth Elf, my main when I was a kid. Fast, deadly, also very cool, but I mean really cool. I mean, you got dual daggers and a disappearing move, Stealth Elf, or a farmer, really. We named Stealth Elf after a loyal subscriber on the second channel, shout out to Cardinal, and we set off with Gurglefin to help his people in Chapter 6, the Darkwater Cove. Real quick in the level, we turn around in the ship to pick up a soul gem for Dino Rank, who I actually owned as a kid. We're not going to be using him, no. He doesn't have too much aura. And now we play our first level with Stealth Elf. Right now, all of our Skylanders are extremely low level, and worse, they're poor. I realized that as we're going through and killing everything, we also need to pick up the experience and the money that they drop instead of just walking past it because we're impatient. But still, even at level 1, Stealth Elf was doing tons of damage. Her combos were doing high bursts of damage, but also her fast movement relative to other Skylanders was kind of making me not want to use any other Skylanders. Uh-oh. We end up finding a magic elemental gate, so we swap to Spyro and go through the largest puzzle section so far. Unlike before, where each section was tightly knit with a quick reward, these new gates in these upcoming chapters were larger, more puzzles, puzzles, more enemies, but nevertheless, we go to the very end and pick up our gift box for a brand new hat. But I also noticed that we could actually fly over the water using Spyro, allowing us to get this story scroll. Back in the level of Stealth Elf, we run into Torta's Town, where we pick up the soul gem for Igniter, who unfortunately we do not have. I say that with a sigh because he's one of my favorite ones. And we also find a secret portal in the back of the building, which led to the legendary treasure of this level. We then make our way up this bridge into a temple and retrieve the twin spouts. This now leads us into an escape section of the map where we swap to Whamshell. We find ourselves a treasure chest for some delicious money and enter a water elemental gate where we have to do kind of a Roblox obby course, for lack of a better word. We pick up the hat at the end of the level, as well as another treasure chest, and after escaping in our beautiful pirate ship, we leave this map with moderate completion marks. But now, with the twin spouts, the core of light continues to assemble. We go ahead and upgrade Stealth Elf's daggers to now do increased damage, which is actually pretty cool because her blades are like significantly bigger now. I love that. I love that. I guess I feel some type of spiritual connection with each of my Skylanders, which actually sounds parasocial as hell, huh? But now we sail to Leviathan Lagoon, or I guess we fly there. This place is a beautiful set of islands, and we have to pick up these 4 totems that are scattered throughout the map. So I decided to swap to Whamshell. First of all, you need him to get to this water elemental gate until I got swallowed up by a shark. But this part of the level is kind of funky. A lot of the enemies here have started to, I guess in fear of me, run away. And because of that, I couldn't get this like little imp thing that had this treasure hat. I couldn't figure out how to get him. I get him later. But for now, I decided to wrap up and go back to Stealth Elf. We go ahead and pick up the story scroll, as well as the soul gem for Zap, whom we unfortunately do not have. I remember having him as a kid though, and he was like a really weird fella. I think I also chewed on him a lot. For some reason, this level of Skylanders kind of gives me a headache. I have no idea why. I think it's because most of these like islands look exactly the same as each other. But with Stealth Elf, we shoot watermelons to sink this pirate ship. And after we brought all 4 of the statues to this shrine, we're about to go get the eternal water source until all of a sudden it gets swallowed up by that enormous shark. And to top it all off, Kaos appears out of nowhere in the shark's belly and starts summoning his own Skylanders to take us out. First thing he summons is his own very Zap. He's fast, but we're faster. Our Stealth Elf's combos were insane for DPS. And after taking down Zap, Kaos decides to summon over his Toho-style shark attacks. But there's something that Kaos doesn't know with his domain expansion. These attacks won't work on us because we're a Terraria veteran. We live by these projectiles. We are one. So he decides to summon his next Skylander, Gilgrunt. But guess what? He's a loser. Stealth Elf is too strong. Too strong! So Kaos once again opens up his domain expansion with all of his sharks, trying to take us down, but hey, we're too good at this game. We keep dodging slowly, ever so slowly. And also we can farm HP if you do a near hit experience. You get a few HP points. And finally, for this last Skylander, Kaos summons Slam, Bam, Slam, Yeti. I forgot his name, dude. I remember seeing him in the shelves of Skylanders, but I didn't pick him up because I think he scared me as a kid or something. But after we take him down, Kaos decides to open up his trump card. All 3 water Skylanders at the same time, as well as opening his domain expansion. But it doesn't matter. We're so good at this game. Our Stealth Elf does so much damage, it doesn't matter. You can throw any attack you want at me, but we take everyone down immediately. Because of that, Kaos is forced to retreat and forfeit to us the eternal water source. And with that, our core of light begins to prosper. And of course, at the cost of Kaos going more insane.
Is everything all right?
Of course everything is all right.
And so we push on in our mission to save the Skylands. Before going on our next task, we decide to upgrade Whamshell's abilities really quickly. First of all, we give him a bigger and better mace, as well as better starfishes. I wanted to get an equal leveling between all of my different Skylanders so that all of them are kind of strong enough. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of did a bad job of doing that. I was gonna continue upgrading all of my other Skylanders, but I realized we don't have enough money for those upgrades because our Skylanders are unemployed computer science majors. But now we must make our way to the Crystal Eye Castle in order to get the Crystal Eye for our core of light. We of course roll up with Stealth Elf, plunging our daggers into the eyes of the Cyclopses of the Eye Castle. Currently, we are 1/3 our way into the game, so the puzzles and enemies are rather stronger, I noticed. We end up finding an undead elemental gate, so we swap to Chop Chop. And after a quick battle, we pick up a hat, a soul gem from Prison Break, which is also great because we're also not even just using him, but there's also an earth elemental gate in front of us. And in this gate, there's a crazy puzzle here. I don't even know how I solved it. I kind of stepped on everything until this maze just worked worked out, and I was able to not only get a hat, but a lot of money, baby, a lot of money. We now circle back to Stealth Elf, who now is officially our highest DPS and also highest level. Currently, we have to destroy the twin towers of the Eye Cyclops Castle, and so we need to fight through these enemy waves using Stealth Elf. We blow up the first tower, and then we blow up the second tower. At the very end, we have to fight off a large wave of multiple Cyclopses to take their eye. And unfortunately, though, at the very end, we did miss the location of the legendary secret treasure. But that didn't really bother me, because now we have the crystal eye on our core of light, making our fountain look better than before. Check it out, baby. Cinematic cutscene to the very bottom. Look at that magma crystal coming out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you would pay $20.99 for that. Look at the shot. You'd want a painting of this. Because of our successful mission, we have extra money to go ahead and buy some upgrades for Stealth Elf, and the biggest one being the backflip. This upgrade is actually rather crucial because a lot of the missions and the completion marks that we've been ignoring are time trials, but with Stealth Elf's backflip and high speed stat, we can breeze through levels later on. But now we move forward to get the Earth element. We find ourselves in the Rock City, Stone Town. This place is home to some beautiful art, and so using our backflip, we're able to pick up the story scroll, do a couple of turtle puzzles here and there, until eventually we decided to swap to Spyro. Because Spyro has the ability to fly, we can actually skip some of the islands and also get some of the treasure chests that are hidden on these places. We also break open a random doghouse and find a soul gem for a lightning rod, and the only reason why I knew this was here was because I exactly did the exact same thing when I was a kid. I don't know why I said exactly twice. But now inside of this temple, I decided to kind of sway my odds a little bit. I decided to swap things up and use Prism Break. Subconsciously in my mind, I knew that I just didn't want to spam the entire game with Stealth Elf, but hey, she's just too good. Also, every other Skylander is just really slow. I mean, look at Prism Break, dude. We're basically waddling with our balls beneath our knees. Anyway, we decided to spice things up again with Trigger Happy, this little freakazoid, until I started going through the level and saw a life elemental gate, meaning we have to go back to Stealth Elf. I think next time I do one of these Skylander videos, I'm just gonna ban a Skylander as soon as I'm done using them, or when I like max out their level, because Stealth Elf should not be carrying this hard. I genuinely feel like Megami every single time I see a threat. I don't need a Mahoraga. I need the Powerpuff Girls, man. I need the Teen Titans. I need a team, not just one monster. Anyway, we pick up the hat at the very end of the level and make our way to the very end, where we find ourselves at a boss fight with a stone golem. Now, this was completely unexpected. I don't even remember this guy, man. But since we're using Stealth Elf, dude, this fight was nothing. I know my face cam and chat are blocking the health bar, but dude, we were doing so much damage. I think his cutscene lasted longer than the entire fight. I win. Whoa, whoa, money! Oh my God! And with that, we've successfully gotten a brand new elemental eternal source. We have the Earth one, progressing the build of our core of light. It also kind of looks like a I don't even know if I could say it out loud. But now our core of light shoots a beacon into the sky, giving us haste 1. All of a sudden, a strange green little monster pops out of the ground named Arbo, and he asks us if he would climb his beanstalk. But before doing that, we go ahead and get our last upgrade for Stealth Elf, because we can now unlock our first ever upgrade path. For those that don't know, each Skylander has an A and a B attack, and after you get enough upgrades, you can actually choose what path to specialize in. Now, usually you want to go with like the A attack, which is just your basic attack, and in this case specifically for Stealth Elf, you can choose between your blade attack or your scarecrow attack. Obviously, we're gonna go for blade attack, but later on, some Skylanders, I will specifically pick the B attack just to have more fun with them, even if it's not statistically better. Anyway, now with Arbo, we climb the vine. We climb this beanstalk to go to the treetop terrace, a beautiful Christmas lit up establishment with, I think, hornets and whatever this thing is. Oh gosh, this place is terrifying. For this level, we're running down with Trigger Happy just to have some type of character variety, and even though he's level 2, he's still really fun to use. I mean, you're just spamming his guns. We also find the story scroll and then swap on over the Spyro to enter the magic elemental gate. In this gate, we ascend up the treetop until we find our favorite delicious hat, and this time we're gonna put it on. It's kind of cool. It suits him. It's like a moose antler ear thing. But I'm not gonna lie, this level was actually kind of brutal. The enemies are really strong and the treasures were actually a little bit harder to find, leaving us with rather subpar completion marks at the end. But now we gotta go find the life element, which is actually inside of a
acorn!
You have acorns?
Kaos has hidden the eternal life source inside of an acorn. Interesting choice. And so we trek on to the falling forest, which looks identical except it's nighttime and there's deforestation happening. Kaos decided the best way to keep the acorn away from us is to cut down all of the trees. Quite a Fire Lord Ozai type of move. And this level was pretty fast with Stealth Elf. We actually got all the treasure chests we need, and we found that freaking acorn, by the way. Is there a boss? There's a boss. I skipped it by accident.
Time for the boom.
It's Boomzooka. All right, watch this though. Flip it. That's one.
Silent but deadly.
Okay. How is she doing that? Don't matter. Kaos now opens his domain expansion using the life element. And this one was pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. Until it started getting not so cool. A lot of projectiles, and it was kind of freaking me out. I will say this is actually my favorite boss fight in the entire game looking back at it, because look at this. Look at this, man. Doesn't it give you good memories to Fargo's Eternity mode? It's that Fargo's mutant experience. Dude, what 8-year-old is doing this? All right, who's the last one? Oh my God, it's Stump Fuck. I'm whooping him, bro. I'm whooping him. He doesn't stand a chance. Oh! Okay. All right, 3v3? I mean, 3v1? Dude, they're actually kind of whooping me. I got him. You can't tell, but I'm severely locked in right now. But I will say, if I wasn't using Stealth Elf, I think we would have lost. This is actually a really hard boss fight. We just happen to have a really high DPS Skylander that, well, you just kill everything before anything hits you. And so now with the Eternal Life Source, we're able to bring back the flowers in our Core of Light. Is this even the Core of Light, man? It's just a fountain to me. Is it not? Am I getting this wrong? Cool. And now we upgrade Stealth Elf and unlock Elf Jitsu, which is such a broken upgrade. We now can chain our attacks even more with a Blade Storm, baby. But now we take a more serious turn in Skylanders. It's time to get involved in international politics. First of all, we hop on a brand new Skylander of the air element on the team, Tornado, baby. Equipped with the ability to shoot out tornadoes and spin like a Beyblade, we travel to the Trolls base. In this industrial hellscape, we find the Trolls working on what seems to be weapons of war. And so I decided to swap things up and go back to Stealth Elf. I know, but hear me out. They were killing me. Okay, they were killing me. It kind of makes you wonder if any kids had a crush on Stealth Elf growing up. I don't want to search that up, actually. Anyway, with Stealth Elf, we find a minefield, and we need to assemble pieces of a map to cross it. But here's a life elemental gate that we walk on in. This was a rather precarious elemental gate because there's a bunch of these keys that you actually have to open. The thing is, though, if you open the wrong amount of doors, you actually have one less key than you're given, meaning you have to restart the level. How do I know that? Because I messed up, and that's exactly what I did, so I have to circle back and redo this level. Anyway, back to the Trolls developing Evangelions here. What are we doing, man? I get it, dude. Kaos is making you manufacture stuff. You gotta fight for them and cool, you know, I get it, right? But bro, Evangelion, sewage systems, lava. I decided to take the freak into the freak show with Trigger Happy to give them a piece of what they want. These guys were freaking me out, so I'm gonna take the freak out. But with the map, we're able to cross the minefield safely. I actually had to swap out Trigger Happy because he died. And I found myself another treasure chest. And with that, we're able to take this enormous gear at the end of the map. And you have no idea what's gonna happen. But yo, we're going to the goddamn moon, baby. We're going up. We're actually going up, man. But that was actually what we wanted this entire time. So now we're cleared to go into the goo factory, which I thought it was going to be like Willy Wonka's place with chocolate and, you know, goo. Nope, they sent us to the beaches of Normandy, man. We're in the trenches of a world war. I became a portal master to spread peace, not kill innocent lives. War never changes. But I did find a story scroll. So now we're walking in with Prison Break because I thought that, well, I wanted a laser to shoot down the trenches of wherever we're at. But this is kind of when I realized that, wow, we really have been playing Stealth Elf too much because everyone is still like level 1, 2, or 3. Prison Break is really weak. We go ahead and swap to Tornado, who, if I'm not mistaken, is only level 1 because we found an air elemental gate. And upon going inside, dude, what is happening? Hey, that's a hat. We also found a treasure, so it was kind of worth it. I was going to say a very controversial war message, but you know what? I'm going to hold back on that. To be fair, Skylanders are technically war prisoners, but we're not going to talk about that, okay? No Skylander traffic talk. And so we play Prison Break. We find the soul gem for camo and start pushing down a bomb the size of your mom. We're able to literally blow up an enemy barricade and start laying siege to reclaim territory. Oh my God. Now, normally during this part of the video, I would like swap back to stream commentary. Maybe we're talking about something that's like, I don't know, a little bit less serious, but hear me out. Let's say this. You reincarnate as an S-rank elephant. Our mission right now is to shake our Wii controller to raise the flags and reclaim territory. But stream chat, rats, chemical warfare. Like, that's the thing. Like, you literally, like, ants, physical damage, mental damage. Cool. But rats, psychological, chemical, everything. Yeah, the war propaganda was kind of leaking in. But anyway, the goo that we got from the goo factory, it seeps into the veins of our core of light, or whatever this fountain is, and makes it glow. It's looking pretty spiffy, I'm not gonna lie. We go ahead and go back to Persephone for a couple more Skylander upgrades. In our case, a bigger and better beam and a new attack, but also the biggest thing, we're green now, baby. Like, more green. It's really cool. I love this color. But now we go back into war. We go to the Eastern Front this time. I don't know, man. I'm sick of this, man. You see, these Skylanders costed money to me, right? But war costs your soul. You can't get that back, man. We find this soul gem for Drill Sergeant. We're fighting Troll Evangelions, but I feel nothing. We're using cannons to break open towers and blow them up, as I carried a large bomb capable of destroying an entire village just to get a soul gem for Drobot. I thought about my life and what I wanted it to mean. Will this war make me a better person? Is what I'm going for truly worth it? At the end of this level, we're given multiple bombs to just throw at turrets, probably filled with trolls, just fighting for their lives, fighting to save their families. And here I am, fighting with my credit card. Couldn't beat me because we have unlimited Skylanders. And at the very end, we get our tech source. But does it really matter? Does this mean anything? I don't know, and I don't care, because we're getting upgrades, baby. Check it out. Chop Chop got a brand new sword, Vampiric Aura. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah! And so now it's that time of month to go ahead and circle back to the previous levels and start getting the legendary treasures. Now with Stealth Elf, we're able to open up that hidden elemental gate back in chapter 2 to get the legendary treasure that we missed. We also went back to multiple levels and started completing out all of the completion marks, and they're actually kind of easy. For lack of a better word, most of them are just complete the level really fast, kill every single enemy really fast. And with that being said, we now had 53% of the game completed. We only had a couple more stages, and maybe those completion marks were gonna be difficult, but I really doubted it. And so we march into chapter 15, the crawling catacombs, in search of the undead eternal source. In here, we pick a brand new Skylander, Cinder, one that I've been training off camera because this fella is super sick. Cinder does a lot of damage, and she's super cool. Number one, she has a black lightning attack that has a wide AoE effect, but she can also shoot shadows with her dash, thus giving her great mobility. One of the things that I truly regret right now is that I'm probably not going to play with all of the Skylanders because there's too many of them, and there's not enough chapters in this game. However, with the Skylanders that I've picked so far, I've been having a blast. And so in this stream specifically, I decided with a mental note that I would clear at least 2 chapters with 1 Skylander only, with revolving categories, of course. And of course, use Stealth Elf as a Mahoraga last resort. I got you, Minasan. If I'm being honest, I was actually streaming with a gum infection at this time, so it was really hard for me to talk. Even now, I have a gum infection, but hey, never let that stop you from making content, baby. In this Undead gate, we do a quick time trial to unlock a beautiful hat, a beret, which I think we do put on. It looks rather stylish, but not for Cinder. We don't need critical hits with her. We need something else. We also find ourselves at a puzzle where we need to push blocks in a specific way to cross and get whatever's at the end. And I don't know if this is intentional or not, but the entirety of Skylanders, I was able to kind of just walk diagonally on the rocks without falling and get to the other side. I don't know if this is intentional, but it works every single time. And with it, we find a legendary treasure. Promptly show off my Beyblades to the chat and engage in a battle royale using Cinder, which by the way was so fun. Something about holding A, shooting black lightning into a wave of weak enemies just hits the brain just right. At the very end, we find the skull mask, but it doesn't matter because now we have to go back into the cadaverous crypt. We continue going deeper, and inside here were some zombies and undead enemies like skeletons that were waiting for us at the very end. But no worries, we were really strong for some reason. I don't know what happened to Cinder, but she's level 8, which the max level is level 10. But at the time of streaming this, my gum infection was really bad because I had a lot of fried bananas, so my mouth was absolutely killing me. So I decided to whip out Mahoraga to take out the rest of these enemies, and then eventually we were able to defeat the level relatively quickly, although we did not really get as much completion marks as I wanted. However, that was fine, and that's because I decided to swap out my Skylander of choice and use a brand new one, Drobot. This Skylander was one of my favorites as a kid, so much so that I used to chew on it. And so we hop into the creepy citadel to retrieve the undead eternal source using Drobot at level 1. But here's the thing, this laser shooting dragon was one of the coolest Skylanders, yes, that I've laid my mouth on, but also the DPS of this guy was through the roof. Drobot has an incredible hold A and pray for DPS attack. His B attack we're not really going to talk about as much, but Drobot's base DPS was enough to actually kill some of the enemies here and give us kind of a starter boost. I didn't realize it at the time, but this is the inception of one of the strongest Skylanders that would join our team. Continued through the level as well as fighting these stupid Shadow Knights that are so tanky and almost killed me several times. However, we find ourselves at the Box Goblin Swamp. I couldn't tell you what this place was really. But at this point in the game, I really felt the weight of every enemy now. This wasn't just silly dilly dally Skylanders. The rest of the world is counting on us. We pick up the soul gem for Whirlwind, who I don't know why, but this person always just haunted me in the shelves of Toys R Us. I swear no one wanted this Skylander. And we continued through the level, literally mowing down every single enemy with Drobot to the point where I think our level was higher than Whamshell, whom we've had from the very beginning of our game. We then make our way to the Grand Ballroom, a very interesting maze. It's a laser maze. I saw a legendary treasure at the top left, which I couldn't figure out how to get. And then apparently it was too late for me to go back, so I left it there. And then at the very end, I thought that I was about to get my undead source until all of a sudden it was time for a boss fight. Oh no! Okay, we gotta swap. We gotta play Stealth Elf. We got Stealth Elf carry. I'll show you guys Stealth Elf's DPS now. Watch this. So every hit, it's like multiple blades. Look at the HP. There's a bear. Okay, so like, what's the boss? Oh, it's like lasers. Okay, this is light. I came from Terraria, man. This is nothing to me. Clean them up. Nice. Okay. We might have to ban Stealth Elf. It's just... I bit my tongue. It's just too easy. I will say, I did watch the Beyblade X anime. I watched like the first episode, and then I skipped to episode 51 because I realized that season 1 has 51 episodes. I don't really like it. I guess it's because it's more aimed for kids. Like, I get it. Beyblade is for kids, right? But Metal Masters and Metal Fusion, I feel like that was rather mature. Like, it's about Jenga finding his dead dad, and then Ryuga, and then the world is ending, so they gotta like get all these people and the constellations of Beyblades and whatnot, you know, cool stuff like that. And then in this one, correct me if I'm wrong, but Beyblade X is just about like being the best in the tournament. Maybe I gotta watch season 2 or something like that. I will say these lasers are pretty cool. I really do like this boss fight. This is really sick. We are approaching Kaos's castle sometime soon. Okay, am I gonna fight all 3 of them now? I am. And Stealth Elf is gonna whoop them. Watch this. Actually, this guy. Wait, hold on. Let me swap to Drobot, get the kill and the experience. Okay, I died. You know what?
Trigger happy.
If I was a Skylander, I would be trigger happy. I'm just saying it right now. I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest. How much experience is that? Give me some good juice. Oh, leveled up immediately from that. Oh my goodness. And here it is, the Undead Source. It kind of looks like Shrek's poop. Dude, we got none of the stars. We got 1. But now with the Undead Source, our Core of Light was one more step to being finished. And our journey in the Skylands is almost over. Real quick, however, I decided to walk around and pick up these butterflies. There's a couple of these that are scattered around the base area. And by picking them up, you're able to apply a 2% discount for every butterfly you pick up onto your upgrades. And since we did that level and somehow survived with Drobot, we had tons of experience and tons of money to go ahead and pick the Master Blaster upgrade path, which just literally makes our laser hold A attack even stronger than it already is. And now our next area was to go into the mines. In here, we're tasked with saving the mole people using this pickaxe where you have to swing every single time to get around the level, which was not that bad. It did hurt my nipples though. I actually really like this level because of how straightforward it was. You can kind of just have free reign over any area that you want to go to in here. There wasn't necessarily a super linear progression here, and I kind of like that. Also, lots of enemies to kill. I also ended up finding a technology gate here, but I couldn't figure out how to solve the puzzle, so I left. And so we continued through the level, finding every single treasure chest we can because I wanted to max out Drobot as fast as possible. We pick up the soul gem for Cinder. We also find the soul gem for Flame Singer. And I never actually liked this Skylander as a kid because I'm pretty sure he was my brother's main and I did not like him. But anyway, after saving all of the mole people, we bring back a sombrero, I think. I'm just kidding. It's a part for our Bunsen burner. But also, things were getting bad out here. The sky was now red and Kaos's darkness is continuing to spread all across Skylands. However, because of our latest incursion, Drobot now has a couple more upgrades that he can pick up. Specifically, literally more lasers. Yeah, it was gonna get crazy out here. But before going on to the later levels, I decided to go back with Drobot to go ahead and find some more completion marks, including this little secret chest at the back of the map here, as well as finding the legendary treasure that I was missing in this area where you have to get eaten by a shark. I also circled back to that maze that I was talking about, and turns out you just have to press the pressure plate in the back of the maze to get the legendary treasure. So it was pretty easy. But now, instead of going to the next area, I decided to grind off camera on a couple of previous Skylanders that we've been using, such as Eruptor. I knew that inevitably speaking, we'd have to go into the final fight and probably have an array of at least 10 different Skylanders of different elements. So I went ahead and got Eruptor's Volcano Path, where every single time he pukes, it's more damage. I also got a couple more upgrades on Prism Break, making him a little bit more green and a little bit more lasery. But my biggest upgrade that was added was to Whamshell. As you can see now, he's a little bit more spiky with a bigger like mace, but now he also has more combos and a ton more attacks, now being much more actually useful in our runs. Yeah, I didn't really like Ramshell, I'm not gonna lie. But before moving on, I decided to have another addition to the team, Whirlwind. You see, I wasn't really rocking with Warnado, and I still wanted a strong air/wind type Skylander, and Whirlwind is rather cool because number one, she has Rainbow Vomit, but she also has these really cool Thundercloud chaining abilities where I actually have to grind about like an hour off camera just to get. But we're not going to talk about that. Instead, we're going to talk about the next mission. We're back in the mines, baby, in Lava Lake Railway. Our job here is to push through with this minecart and get the Fire Elemental Eternal Source. We're able to find and locate Eruptor's Soul Gem, which sucks turbo balls. And we finally scroll on down to the lava mines where we have to do the most excruciating thing ever, which is push blocks. I'd say this, I think this game has aged pretty well. Super fun characters, fun upgrades, but maybe it's because I'm used to just a bunch of stimulus, but pushing blocks felt so slow. But I'm not gonna lie, seeing that green check mark come up kind of makes me feel a little good. And so now after repairing the track, now with digs, we're able to go down and finally look for the Fire Elemental Eternal Source. For some reason, Glumshanks was on the track and we almost run him over and kill him. But now here we are in Lava Lagoon, where at the very end is the Lava Elemental Source. So we decide to swap to Eruptor. I went ahead into the Fire Elemental Gate just to pick up a couple of the treasure chests as well as the hat. But at the very end, Kaos once again has the Fire Elemental Source to himself. So we have to take it back with our own hands. Oh my god. Oh my god. Whoa! Okay, that's a lot of damage. Realistically speaking, though, we should have a water advantage, you know? All right, let's see the, dude, I actually don't remember this at all. So it's like flaming arrows from the sky. Hey, man. Yo, by the way, I think I have like a, I know I've been having like gum pain recently. I said that I had a gum infection and whatnot. But dude, I think it just might be my wisdom tooth. My wisdom tooth is killing me. And they told me that I had to get it removed like 2 years ago. I hope it's not my wisdom tooth, man, because I cannot afford to like go under anesthesia right now. Ooh, I forgot this guy's name. Phoenix? Oh my god! I cannot see him. I'm just creaming all over him. Oh! There we go. Ooh, Eruptor's max level now. Huge. Okay. Okay, wait, what the flip? Lock in. Oh, yep. Oh, look at that. My pattern recognition is through the roof. Oh god, 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 oh god. I'm too slow. I'm actually too slow. I will say, dude, I recently had the new 3 for Me from Chili's chicken sandwich. For those that don't know, if you go to Chili's and you like dine in, you can get something called the 3 for Me, where you get, I'm just gonna stand still. You get like a burger of your choice, you get fries, you get chips and salsa with a drink for like $11. It's insane. And they released like a brand new chicken sandwich there. It is that's me. They released a brand new chicken sandwich and it's delicious, dude. They give you like a pound of meat. Okay, why is he's actually stronger than me. Like, I was eating it and I could not believe the value that I was getting out of my meal. Usually I get like a triple dipper when I go to Chili's. I get the hot Maz, I get the sliders, and I get, I think, honey chipotle chicken tenders. All 3 of them now. All right, let's log in. Let's log in. But now with this 3 for Me deal, I don't know. For those that know me, I'm a real big fan for cheap things. Not like cheap just because they're cheap, but you get your value. Like, for example, today I went to a food truck festival and I got loaded brisket fries with like vegetables on it, with brisket, with fries, and it was like $14. Which is a little expensive, but at a food truck festival, dude, you're paying like $30 for water, man. But hey, we got the Eternal Fire Source. So what do we need? What elements? We got water, we got undead, we got like everything, really. How many? Wow. We did a lot of completion marks. And so now we have the Eternal Fire Source, now allowing us to lay aflame the core of light. We're one step closer to freeing the darkness until all of a sudden we meet the Weapons Master. What the?
Awakened us from our 10,000-year slumber. We are what is left of an ancient civilization, the Arkeyan Weapon Masters.
The Arkeyan Weapon Masters. Dude, I was too stupid as a kid to understand this.
We have waited for one to come, to pass our secrets to. Are you prepared to cross the great chain of time?
What? Are you prepared to pass through the great chain of time? What? Wait, we're walking on a chain. He wasn't joking. It's an actual chain. And so we are now in the end game. We make our way through the Arkeyan Armory, looking for the final Eternal Source, the Eternal Magic Source. Apparently years ago, the Arkeyans decided to hide it just in case if anything happens. And these enemies in here were absolutely ridiculous. Not only did they have the most HP so far, but they hit hard, dude. But this area was absolutely stunning. It reminded me of a Dark Souls level, specifically the Dark Souls 2 level swamp where those little mages chase you, and they have kind of make you want to not play the game ever again. The procedure is standard, obviously. We go ahead and pick up some chests, as well as pick up the soul gem for Wrecking Ball, who I actually used to be like a freakazoid for as a kid. There's just something cute about those eyes. We also spot a elemental life gate that we swap to Stealth Elf for. And this is when the puzzles start getting absolutely insane. This like moving shrine block ball buster, I don't know, took me a little longer than I wanted to do, but with it, we're able to get one of the best hats in the game, the unicorn hat. I don't know if this is actually the best hat. I just like it for armor and critical hit. But now in order to actually get the silver vial for the eternal magic source, we have to start solving a series of laser puzzles at the very top. And let me tell you, this section of the game kind of made me feel like I was fighting the Ender Dragon. You were flying all across these chains, picking up story scrolls, solving puzzles. And after turning on all 3 beams, the vault has finally opened. We can now get the vial of Quicksilver. But before doing so, we must fight the last line of defenses of the Arkeyans, which honestly wasn't too bad. We had some really good Skylanders up our belt now. And now with this mission complete, we only had one more chapter until we face off in the final fight against Kaos. This is still so cool every time they do it. Okay, so now all like the elements are glowing together. Now we got to cross the chain to the Arkeyan Armory. But we're not going to do that yet. We're going to go ahead and level up Prison Break. We now have piss yellow laser beams for some reason. And with the last 2 final chapters remaining to get the magic source and beat Kaos, we had 90% of the game completed. And so we make it to one of my favorite missions in the game ever, the Arkeyan Armory mission. We enter on the Chain of Time, which is a literal chain. After turning on the lights in the armory, we can see the absolute armada that these guys were making. They're making Evangelions out here, dude. But this was the final level that I wanted to pull out all of my cards. Trigger Happy, still level 7. I decided to level him up. We have to. We need to. The next mission is the last one. We make our way through to the Halls of Molten Fire and start piloting an Arkeyan Evangelion. This part of the game was so cool. You're basically shooting it like a cannon, and also at the same time, you can throw hands, dude. Now, if I'm being honest, this was pretty cool for like the first 30 seconds, but this entire segment is like probably 3 to 4 to 5 minutes long, and it's unbelievably slow. I was thinking that I would just farm this level because there's so much experience and so much money to be made, but dude, this section right here, I wish I could skip it. But then at the very end, their very own Evangelion wakes up, hits us for half our HP, but we're stronger. We open up the gate to find the temple where the eternal magic source is held. Of course, before doing that, we go into the air elemental gate to go ahead and do a Roblox obby course. You know, it sucks too. For some reason, for all the flying Skylanders, they fly midair. Fucking. Yeah. What? I ended up swapping a Stealth Elf to make things easier. And at the very end, we get ourselves a brand new elemental magic hat. Before picking up the elemental magic source, we pick up the soul gem for Voodoo. It turns out to actually get the legendary treasure, you have to use an earth elemental Skylander to break the rocks. There's no other way to do it, which is crazy. But anyway, we get the eternal magic source. Let's see it. Let's see it. But why does it make the sky red? Or is that just Kaos is doing? Oh, it was.
I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And before going to the final stage, the final chapter to wrap things up, I went ahead and did a speed run, got every single completion mark, making it only one more chapter to completely 100% this game. And so we make sure we're kitted out. We got a brand new update for Trigger Happy's little potluck attack, Eruptor's little barf balls, and now we go fly up into the layer of chaos. It was time to fulfill our destiny of saving the Skylands. The layer of chaos was outfitted with so many of the strongest enemies we've seen throughout the entire game, as well as choices. Food or money? Well, who knows? Oh my god. There's also a magic elemental gate that we go inside of to do some hardcore parkour. We're able to get the final hat of the entire game here. And as we slowly fight our way to the end of the level, I'm not gonna lie, I felt a rush of nostalgia. This level right here is the most nostalgic for me because it is the one that gives you the most experience and money. And I remember hours and hours as a kid farming this over and over and over again. We're able to pick up the legendary treasure, but we couldn't get the treasure chest on the other side because it kind of just closes. You have the choices, man, choices. As you can see right here, there's the soul gem for I think double trouble, but we have to pick up the treasure chest and now it locks that one, so we got to do another one, but that's okay. And so we make it to the end, our final battle arena, fighting through the waves of the strongest enemies that we face so far. Tanky enemies, strong enemies, sexy enemies, until finally we're able to defeat them and make our way to Kaos. And what laid upon us was not only our destiny, but one of the hardest boss fights I've ever done on the Wii. I have no idea how I did this as a kid, by the way. Kaos's castle flips upside down to reveal his arena. And as we walk up ominously, the music kicks in. My fingers tremble. We raised, hopefully, enough Skylanders to take this guy on. But this fight was not a joke. Chair?
Foolish apprentice! You played right into my hands!
It's not like, I feel like it'd be different if you could like steal all the sources from us right back. All right, lock in. How on earth do I hit him? Oh, lock in. Oh, he's actually summoning Skylanders. Okay. Puke! Eruptor carry! Actually, Eruptor carry!
I have to laugh. I have to!
Whoa, okay, I wasn't expecting that.
Meet the same minion who destroyed the core of light and will do so again. Meet the beast that sent Eon to his well-deserved bodiless oblivion. Meet my Hydra!
Hydra? I don't remember this at all. What's happening? It's fire. What is happening? I don't remember this. I'm actually in shock. I don't remember there being a freaking dragon in this fight. It's fine though. He has like weak attacks. He swapped. Oh, okay. So it's all the attacks from before. All right, I think we should swap. We should swap. Let's pop in Whirlwind. Oh, he has one of every element right now. Crap, okay. I'm not really good. Okay, no, I'm swapping. I need something that's high damage single target. Boop. Nice. Water. Okay, sharks. Sharks are easy to dodge. Oh my god! Oh my god! It's in slow-mo, thank god! Minigun! Ah! Everyone's so sad. Alright, just send out your next ones. Alright, zap. Okay, they're doing a lot of damage. Okay, zap. Get away from me! Holy crap! Trigger happy's too slow for zap. We need someone faster. Wham shell, please! Do something, man! I know you're low level. Ha! Let's go! Physical combat! Where'd you go? Grass. Grass was like the worms and stuff, I think. I don't care. I tank these. Oh my god. All right, let's keep things a little different, all right? Let's summon in Cinder, okay? Ghost Roaster? Okay. Doesn't matter. They already moved on. Zook. We bring the boom! We gotta be careful because these guys have all of their upgrade paths. Unlike us, where we have to pick only one, they have all of them. They have both paths. Dude, they do so much damage. It's ridiculous. Dude, they do so much damage. Get away! All right, we got it. Water again. Okay, I need to get some HP. Dodge. Yes, HP. Bring. Dude, Sunburn does so much damage. I'm like trying to keep a distance because it keeps teleporting. Oh my god. Oh! What is this? Magic? Swap. Okay, wait. Oh god. Prison break. We'll use prison break, okay? Oh, we did it. Oh, lasers. Oh, we're fine. I also have lasers, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god, too slow. They failed. Move on, brother. Move on. Oh my god, he has more minions. I'm just gonna hide behind the laser. Okay, Flame Slinger's kind of scary though. Oh my god, that hurts so much. Oh my god, okay, we have to use it. Stealth! We have the Brio. It's our trump card. Fire Elemental. Okay, that's fine. Chilling. This way. Get some attacks in. So much damage. Nice. And Kaos is back at full HP. Okay, all we have to do is just lock in. Wait, what? There's one-on-one?
How was I doing at this at the ripe age of 9?
Oh my god, I'm dying. Oh my god. All right, water. Green in the background. And fire! Whoa. Okay.
Wait, this is insane. I'm actually having trouble with this. I'm not even playing it up.
All right, Drobot, you're our second most powerful. Just stand still and shoot. Move over. Stand still and shoot. Get rid of the green. Stand still and shoot. Okay, green's not so bad. The hard ones is like fire, man, and the laser one. Okay, I just stand still, right? If you don't gotta overthink it. Oh.
Oh my god, they womboed.
I tank it. I don't even know how to dodge this. Yo! Come on.
Oh my god, there's more. No! Come on, we're right there. Yes!
No wonder Eon lost. He summoned a four-headed dragon. That was so much harder than ever. How did I do that when I was like so... Dude, holy crow.
Fools! Release me at once or face your unimaginable doom!
Oh, dude, fine. Wow. I feel so good. That was a really good boss fight. I'm thoroughly impressed. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I think at this point, you're expected to have, like, what, like 15 Skylanders or whatever? Are you going to turn him into a Skylander? Oh, did we send him into the toy shelves?
What the? Everything's getting bigger!
He's not a Skylander in Giants, is he?
You have done well, Portal Master. We may have seen the last of Chaos and the Darkness, but there is more to do. The journey with your Skylanders is only just beginning.
Dude, they were making that cutscene like, we're gonna make so much money with this game. But yeah, folks, there it is. The entire game. Skylanders Spyro's Adventure almost 17 years later. And so I went ahead and played my strongest favorite Skylander, Drobot, and did a quick speed run of the level, gathering everything else that we've missed so far. And upon going to the main menu, as you could see, 100% completed. Thank you guys so much for watching this video of Skylanders Spyro's Adventure 100%. It was a absolute blast to play this. And yeah, let me know down in the comment section if you guys want to see Skylanders Giants 100%. I don't know if I'll get to it. Once again, thank you so much to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. You can check out War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or on mobile, and use my links in the pinned comment or video description to register. And remember, if you're new or haven't played for 6 months, to get that limited time bonus across PC, consoles, including multiple premium vehicles, in-game currency, and more. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Adrian, guys.